I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Yum, yum.
Hi, Ryan.
Hello, Rachel.
How are you doing today?
Fine. How about yourself?
Oh, why just fine?
I don't know. Maybe it will reflect upon in discussion of the episode we watched of this show that we're talking about overall. Maybe that influenced my attitude. Don't know. It's a real mystery. How about yourself? How are you doing?
It's a short school term in Victoria at the moment, but we have about 2 weeks left before a 2-week break, and it feels too far away.
Such burdens for you.
Oh yeah, I know. It's awful that I'm about to get 2 weeks paid.
Leave? I know. It's such a... it's an even bigger burden for you to carry on your shoulders, telling everyone that's listening right now what we do on the podcast and why we're called Yum Yum.
We are called Yum Yum because Ryan here, my lovely husband,
That's me.
is a Star Trek nerd and has been for a very long time. And then new Star Trek comes along in his lifetime. And
That wily old rascal. That wily old rascal. Oh, that Alex Kurtzman.
I wasn't going to start there. I was going to start with Enterprise.
Oh, we're going all the way back to having
We're
all
going
begin.
all the way back.
There was a series called Quantum Leap that had a really charismatic actor that for some reason decided or was forced to not use any of that charisma to be in the Star Trek show.
Yeah. And you said no, there's hope in Star Trek still. And eventually I entered your life and you indoctrinated me to become a Trekkie too.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So, with hesitation, but hope in our hearts, we watched Star Trek Discovery. And that hope is you.
Part 2.
That hope is crushed. That hope is crushed. And we get to a point. Season 2 specifically. Why are you shaking your head?
No, I'm just laughing. I'm thinking about this moment that you're going to tell us about. I'm chuckling all over again.
Empress Georgiou or Jojo, whatever you fucking want, gives the opportunity to go kill one of the antagonists. Not even the season-long antagonist. A co-opted body of a person that they knew.
They barely had issues with as a person either.
Yep. And Commander Nandi's response to this genocidal maniac offering an opportunity to go kill this person is not no, is not yes, is the nonsensical phrase in this context of yum yum.
She licked her hair.
She
Flicked
licked her hair.
Yeah, flicked her lips back.
She licked her hair.
And flicked her lips back. And said, yuck, yuck.
But we are not here to talk about Star Trek Discovery because we've done that already.
We're the only people brave enough to have rewatched that show.
We did that one. We did The Expanse. We did Space Above and Beyond. We did Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
And
we even found the Lost Tales. They were lost, but we found them. And of course, waiting for us is Hypernauts, as always. But Rachel, we're not talking about Hypernauts today.
No, we are talking about Killjoys. A show that started in 2015. And we are watching season 2 of this show, and this is our coverage of the second episode, Wild Wild Westerley.
I've seen the show before, and you are a newcomer to the series.
Fresh eyes.
We are watching through the show as well. Our reactions are available fully unedited on our Patreon, as well as these episodes early and a whole back catalogue of bonus material. And we also put edited versions of the reactions on YouTube. But Wild Wild Westerly, Season 2, Episode 2, I have a description here for this roller coaster ride of
Where
an
did
episode.
you find this description, right?
I found it under a rock, a piece of debris from Old Town,
but not a real rock, because this is a sci-fi podcast.
Well, they found some in a quarry. They found there's two sides of the rock coin: styrofoam rocks because it's science fiction TV and they film on a set, or real rocks at a quarry because they often film in a quarry. This episode, they did a little bit of sets and locations, it feels, but it was more industrial and warehousey this time round. But
we visit the rack.
We visit the rack. That's true. That's yep. We didn't get to see the warehousey part of the rack
Anyway,
today.
I mean,
Please. Let me cut to
sorry.
the chase. Wild Wild Westerly is about Team Awesome Force breaking into. Why are you looking at me so confused?
It's about a wall. Wild Wild Westerly is about a wall.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
And Johnny's love for that wall.
Pre finds it very invasive, that wall. But in all seriousness, it is about liberating Old Town from the rule of the company, but things don't go as simple as that, for they must track down a terrorist who has gained a super weapon of sorts from the company. Meanwhile, Turin somehow returns. Somehow, he's back, and his injury moved a lot lower down his body than what we saw in the episode where he got stabbed straight through the center of his chest. It's moved to a non-critical area or a less critical area, but hey, it's fine. It's science fiction futurism. It could have.
It was an angle. It was the angle.
It was an angle. It was at an angle.
No, not the camera was at an angle that made it look like it was higher up.
Sure, let's defend that.
Let's start there.
Obviously, we have many things to say about this episode of Killjoys, and like with every single episode, there's a lot of humor and a lot of heart. And we like to point at what was the particularly funny moment, because Yum Yum in Star Trek Discovery was a funny line. So what was the Yum Yum laugh for us in Wild Wild Westerly?
Johnny offered some great bangers this episode. So did Pre. Dutch tried, but Dutch didn't reach that echelon this particular episode for me. And it's hard for me to pick one, because there's one that stands out because of when we were doing the reaction, I paused it, and that elongated moment made that even funnier. But the line that I keep on thinking about is different than that one. The line that I keep on thinking about is he's the dickiest dick who ever dicked.
About the new company officer, Jelko. I have a pick that is almost a payoff, or it's an ongoing gag of this subplot in which a muscular thug has taken over Pre's place. Garrett.
And it has a bitch.
And there's a bitch. There's bitches
involved.
dropped in this episode. Many bitches. There were so many. But what I was going to say is Garrett goes to see Potter. And he tries to intimidate her, threaten her, and then she proceeds to break his leg even more to the point where he will need surgery. And you just hear him squeal on the ground. What is wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you bitches?
And he may as well just said, why does this keep happening to me? It
Like,
was
I tried to rob you at knife point and you've broken my leg.
What I love about this plot, what I love about this funny thing, and it goes on to the very final thing, is he tries the same approach each time and gets injured in new horrific ways each time and does not learn. I love that.
I guess it's only fair, considering what I did to get the place. What'd you do?
Worse than that, huh?
You have an important update.
I do. But bitch count first. Bitch count comes first.
The bitch count?
What is the bitchiest bitchin'?
So every episode we have noticed of this series has to include bitch or bitches. It doesn't matter.
Minimum of one.
This episode had it 4 times, which is a step up from the usual amount, which I appreciate them going into the extra efforts. It was actually shared around quite a bit, but Garrett did say it the most. Pre said it as well. He had his whole moment of just like, bitches, who wants to clean blood and brain off a wall? And I was happy that
brick
wall. But you have the most important thing to say about all of Killjoys. This is more important than anything else we've ever discussed.
Yes. So last episode, I said that we were going to sadly switch over from having a nutshot count to a number of episodes since we got a nutshot. And I am happy to report that count is 0 because we got a nutshot. Again, victimization of Garrett.
Wild Wild Westerley has a lot of things going on. The title itself promises a fun romp and even a throwback to the Wild West. Surprisingly, it does not actually live up to that title as much as the last episode did. I feel like the title would have worked in the last episode, but there is things to note here from both the direction and the writing. First off, the director of this episode, this is his first time, and he will come back one more time, and it will be for this season. This is Martin Wood, and he is a workman-like director, often very much in the science fiction sphere, but in more recent years, a lot of your Christmas movie stuff, a lot of your soap opera stuff, a lot of
57 directorial credits on IMDb.
And he has produced a few shows as well. And he started off pretty early on in his career doing science fiction, several episodes of Earth Final Conflict. He also worked on Jeremiah, which we keep seeing pop up with actors and writers and directors. A lot of connections. And since we covered Babylon 5, it is important to note Jeremiah because of the creator of that show worked on Jeremiah, Andromeda, Stargate Atlantis, but he did your favorite series, Sanctuary. He directed most of Sanctuary.
Yeah, like it was a fun show when I watched it when it was coming out.
But Rachel, you have to reveal to everyone the importance of Martin Wood for yourself.
He's directed a bunch of Virgin River
and Chesapeake Shore.
Yes,
Shores. Sorry.
And Chesapeake Shores.
2 of your favorite, or 2 of your go-to soap opera type things that aren't Grey's Anatomy.
Both shows that I will never rewatch, though.
Just like Grey's Anatomy, right? I mean, it's inhuman to be able to watch Grey's Anatomy.
I've rewatched parts of Grey's Anatomy before. I don't think I could go back and do it all again.
The writer of this episode is new, and he is a producer for this season. He will go on to write an episode later this season as well, and he does not stick around as producer or writer after. This is Sean Raycraft, and he does a lot of Canadian stuff, a lot of kids stuff, Brace Face, Degrassi, The Next Generation, and then he moved up to doing stuff like Vampire Diaries, Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches, and Another Life, that dreaded Netflix sci-fi show that no one liked, but it got 2 seasons, and it keeps popping up in our discussions, and boy, that show was not good, and it just is a reminder of the state of science fiction television. And just getting into his writing and all of this, I will just launch off and say I did not like this episode very much. I thought it was quite poor. This was very unfortunate because we've been on a run of great episodes, and this has the potential to be good. There's so many things that happen in this episode that is clearly important, but I just felt like this was a subpar script, made even worse by awful production and direction. I was confused throughout a majority of this of why it was executed the way it was. So many weird camera choices and filtering choices. The action scenes were very lackluster in how they were shot and cut together. The banter of the episode was paced very weirdly, so even if it could be there was just something off in the way that it was staged, as well as how they were saying it. I looked at this episode and I was seeing scenes where I go, okay, these two characters are talking to one another, but why is it out of focus?
Yeah, it's like,
why is it blurry?
with
Why
other
is it not nighttime when they
decisions-
say it's nighttime?
with other decisions like that in the past in Killjoys, you have been able to understand the motivation behind a choice. That was lacking in a bunch of this episode. And it just feels so frustrating because we really came around to the visual style of the show, and this feels like a major setback.
But we're going very hard on the technicals. Very hard on the technicals because they do leap out. But did you like this episode, or were you not a fan of it? Is the technical aspect something that got in the way for you, or did you like certain things of this episode enough to kind of get past that? Because that is a thing that it can be very true.
Yeah. I have a specific sort of problem with this episode, and that is so much happens and it's still fucking boring. And you know the path forward, and then it follows the path, like and that,
By hook or by crook, we are going to get there.
yes, and it's frustrating because that's something that I have praised Killjoys for not doing. So it having an episode where it just goes A, B, C, D, E, and expects you to be surprised by things. Like, we are meant to be shocked that Turin is back. We're not. We're meant to be shocked that Hills is back. We're not. We're meant to be shocked when Hills actually does die. We're not really. We're meant to be shocked.
Alvis is going through a dark phase. He's going to commit genocide. Shocking. A guy who you know, we can, but there's so many things like what you're saying of just like, okay, we the audience are ahead of the show, but is the journey to that satisfying enough? And
No,
it is very much
because
not so. It's very paint
just
by numbers.
all convenient. It's just like, oh, Dutch hands Alvis the thing. He knows where the things are, and you know, conveniently there is the thing of water in there. Oh
Yeah. Yeah, and Davin has the mask
and it's
from
all
earlier in the episode.
just in the nick of time and just by the skin of their teeth.
Which could be fine.
there's
Which
so-
could be fine, but
It's
the problem...
so much of just them being dumb when they need to be dumb too. Like,
my big issue is that stuff could be tolerable if they didn't cut corners to such a staggering degree with character work. Turin is back, and they just treat it like, hey, he's back, and at the end of the episode, he's going to tell us that things
the same
aren't...
way that they do when Porter is getting
Oh,
down
Rachel.
the
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Porter got arrested and then came back within an episode, and it was discussed in this episode as just a throwaway thing. Turin comes back, and then he says at the end of the episode things aren't fine, but we know for a fact he got questioned by Klein, but he never mentions that. And why did Klein leave him alive? We don't know. We don't know thus far, but it's that thing of like it raises these questions that needed to be addressed.
Not a level 6.
No, because he's not healed. But here's the thing: Alvis throughout all of season 1 was working towards an armed revolution, and in this episode, a random fucking guy tells him that he's a pussy that doesn't do anything other than be peaceful and pray.
He's been praying since Old Town got bombed.
And then Alvis gets all, ooh, I don't believe any of this stuff. So when Alvis gets to the point where he's going to commit mass murder because some dude made him feel bad, it's such a giant leap that all the other things that you mentioned cannot be tolerated. Because if you built up to these things and if you made them flow into one another, all of the stuff you said would be...
one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Scarbacks are the ones trying to force the company out of Old Town, not run away. But yet you're lurking in the tunnels, praying to your gods. How's that forcing the company out? I remember you in the mines almost getting beat to death for talking back to a company foreman. Where's that Alvis? Bring him back.
There are things that work. And there are things that work that tie into what we're saying here about how this episode skips a lot of things. So, Pre continues to be an amazing character, continues to be a delight.
And I am sad that he is left behind and replaced by Alvis.
But it makes sense.
Yes.
You may be disappointed, you may be saddened because you enjoyed his presence, but it doesn't feel disingenuous and it doesn't feel unearned. When he rocks up to the Royal and has been taken over by some fucking guy, you feel the heartbreak and you feel like the anger well up in him and like the sense of pride and all of the stuff about when he gets it back and how he has to stay here, it's his home, and the Royal has to stay because it's the blood of this town. It's the heart of this town. It brings people together. The band is back. It's a different band, but like a band is back and they're singing and there's joy to be had and it feels so cathartic and so heartwarming because it has all of the connective tissue to get to these points that we need to get to with this. Like there's a version of this story that's similar to what they do with Alvis and similar to what they do with Turin and so many other things that this episode does do, where they just jump over and just want to get to the end result immediately. But Garrett, he has like a little subplot in this episode that ties in with Pre, and it's like, they don't need to do that. They just could have beat him up and that could be the end of it. But no, they kept going with it.
It's like the one remnant of the things that we like and the promise of the show. And it feels so weird that that's the thing. Like, not any of the main characters getting anything. Not any of the setup for further episodes. It's the guy that took over the bar.
Well, this episode is about restoring Old Town or coming back to it. And you need...
getting Pre back in.
That's it. Pre is the person of Old Town we know. No other character really has that deep of a connection to this place, and we have a connection to that character.
Live in Old Town, but that's different than the level of connection that we see Pre have. We have this moment where he stays behind, and it doesn't have oomph.
Really, I thought it had oomph.
Like. it doesn't have oomph in the way that they think that it does for me. Because, again, it feels like the show expected me to not realize that Pri was going to stay behind. It's just like, well, no, he's not going to leave again. Doesn't matter what is happening. And also, it sets up a man on the inside, which they will need further down the track. So it feels like it makes sense, but it's like it's the cogs moving. And I feel that more than I felt the emotional moment. Did I enjoy those moments? Yes, but I didn't feel them in that same way. That same... like they didn't have that heft.
See, this is where I do disagree, because I think the show was aware that we know where this is going to end up, but it's staying true to the path of the trajectory of the character and story. So that felt honest, and I was bought into the emotionality of it. The actor also helps a lot with that, but after all of the hijinks, after all of the despair, the potential of Old Town being destroyed and people turning on one another, to have it be hammered in at the end with Pri, at the Royal, things are going to come back. Things are going to be restored. Yeah, there's the company doing their evil shit over there. And yeah, there are people trying to undermine us and take over, but there are some things that you just can't remove. And Pri and everything he had going on with that, I thought was very well done. And I liked it.
I wish that I felt that way, but it just didn't click in for me. And I'm annoyed at that, because it feels like they've taken something away from me because those Pri things weren't as impactful.
Did you like him being a warlord?
Yeah, we kind of got a bit of that last episode, and it's the same picture of him with hair.
I have something big to reveal here.
What?
It's about Pri.
What?
So there was a podcast.
Do not tell me that this is his final episode.
This is his final. No. I have something big to reveal here, and it's in relation to Pri and his character and the reveal of him being a warlord who's now a bartender. I listened to a podcast, an audio drama, a science fiction one called EOS 10, and I was very annoyed with that podcast because they had this character that was Pri. They were this exact character, this bartender who's a lovable, sassy, gay guy who's revealed to be a former warlord, pirate king, who's now the lovable bartender in hiding, but people know him and he's the hard. And I was annoyed because it's this character. I was like, this is so annoying because they clearly watched Killjoys and ripped this off, and they're doing their own thing. It was just so one-to-one to me. And I was going to walk in and reveal this when we got to this episode, when they get into his warlord stuff. But the shock of shocks, in preparation for this, the podcast came out before the show.
Yep.
I've been angry at this podcast for years, and now I realize it's the other way around, huh? I'm not saying that they listen to this podcast and kind of got inspired. Like, these things can coexist, but it is weird that I have this character twice.
Yeah.
Very strange. I think I'm the only one that cares about this. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, but I had to say it on my own podcast because it's gnawed away at me for so long. And then when I walked in, I looked things up just to make sure that I wasn't going to speak ill of certain people. And then, oh no, it's the other way around. There we go. There's many things to keep track of in this episode, but they try to ground it with a warrant plot. The company hires them to track down these escaped prisoners and bring them back, dead or alive. And Killjoys, that's the premise, right? Like, they take
warrant is all.
The warrant is all. And I like that as a thing to help frame episodes around while still engaging with overarching stuff. Hey, we have the warrant of the week, but really we're delving into all these other things, and perhaps the warrant opens out into a bigger picture, which is what this episode does. Like, we are introduced to the new company man, we're introduced to this toxic gas, we're introduced to, like, the new layout of Old Town after the bombings. Like, it does all of this stuff, but there's just something about the need for it in this episode that is so meh. Like, it's fine. It's a fine plot.
It conveys the requirements. That's what it feels. It services the plot. It's the plot because the plot needs to happen. And it's like, oh yeah, setting up a new antagonist. Probably for like the next couple of episodes is my thinking, but I have been wrong every single time that I've tried to guess about the direction of this season. So it just gets worse for me. Like, the setup of these things happened. The ship was shot down. The political prisoners have escaped. There's a lot of contrivances within that plot of, yeah, okay, they find one when they go to the Royal. He shoots himself in the head, so that's that done. Move on to the next step, which is go to the prison. He gave an ominous warning of, they're all waiting for you, and I immediately knew that it was going to be a fake out, and then there's ridiculously extravagant breathing sounds that make it sound...
Like a monster?
Mm-hmm. It sounded like it belonged in Doctor Who.
There's no monsters in this show. It's just people in like singlets and
so
jumpers.
Like the really like over the top extravagant use of that sound effect is ridiculous, but it's played like it's actually meant to be tense, and I was like, do you actually believe this, Killjoys, or are you trying to, like, reverse Uno card me right now? What is this?
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Who are you?
What are you?
I'm Carl.
Give me that.
Ow!
The biggest strength of this episode for me was the delicate balancing of being a killjoy, fulfilling the warrant and doing this plot, and wanting to be their own independent agents and trying to do what they wanted to do. I absolutely adored, and I thought it was well done, that Jellicoe, this new company officer, is disregarding the rules and the regulations and the way things are supposed to work between the company and the rack, which was very much reinforced in season 1 throughout. And so to see him just be so offhanded about it. Dutch says many times, you are not our boss. You are our client. And we just see him wave his hand at that and say, I don't give a shit about that.
Because
You
he's
do
like,
what I say.
I still have power over you. It doesn't matter what you call it.
And this,
I have power. I have control.
And at this point, it is a joke that they say the rack is neutral. He scoffs at it, and they know this too from having dealt with everything that they've dealt with, but it is the thing that they have to maintain. It's the thing that they have to cling on to be able to pursue the things they need to pursue. They have to as characters, and I thought that was really well portrayed.
Let that go, but I loved his phrasing of, that's adorable. Nobody's neutral. Like, the innocence is just cute.
And it's this naivete that Team Awesome Force and Turin uphold of, we need to clean things and make it the way it's supposed to be, this embodiment of neutrality and doing the right thing and fulfilling the warrant. And yet, from what the company has said and what we've seen of everything with Klein and the background of the rack, isn't that just a lie? Anyway? Like, aren't you just feeding into a falsehood?
Yeah.
I like the back and forths between Jellicoe and Dutch. I love the bit where he is very annoyed at them and just says, "Oh, you're trying to bluff me? You're trying to pull a bluff here? Fine. I'll play your bluff." And he just rallies all of Old Town to hunt her down,
which is such an effective manipulation tool.
You know,
and it feels like, yeah, somebody with his reputation in that position would pull a move like that. And you know that there's absolutely no way that they would actually end up on Leith.
Here's where I wag my finger, though. It's such a good move that's such a great pull and such a great move. It should have been the whole episode. But it never comes to anything. He does that, and I actually like the direction in that moment where you see all of the people in the background notice her and then go after her. But it doesn't matter because she's never pursued by people again. She makes it into the Royal, and then they go underground, and it's all fine. It's such a shame because you set it up so well that you could have made that an episode. You could have made Old Town escape from New York.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
No.
You didn't. You
no.
like
it's a waste of an idea.
Yeah. That could have been really enthralling to see Dutch and the gang try to save Old Town from the company and itself while being pursued by the occupants of Old Town.
Just another tick of this episode being a disappointment.
I need to get an update from you about the character of Alvis. How do you feel about Alvis overall, and what does this episode do?
Like, can we just...
You don't like Hunky Monk?
He's wearing a shirt now, so how hunky monk can he be?
He had his shirt off one time in this episode. It was fine.
But not as much as what we started with. They've taken it away.
But to be direct, how are you feeling about Alvis?
I don't want him here. I'm not that interested. I don't have faith that they're going to do anything interesting with him. It feels like he's here because he can give them information about the Scarback stuff on Arkin, which he somewhat does this episode.
Well, he says he doesn't know.
Yeah, they
haven't been there in 200 years. That's what he says.
Yeah.
200 years, Dutch says in ADR.
The ADR is really obvious in this one too.
I mean, I have to know.
It's like, I wouldn't be paying attention to that if I cared about the episode. So
I feel the most contempt for this episode because of what they do with Alvis, and I feel like I'm
contempt is a great word to describe how we're both feeling.
But I need to hear from you about the Alvis stuff, what they did, and does it line up for you, and how do you react to it?
I am struggling because I'm like, it's dumb and I don't like it. And I don't know how to describe it other than disparagingly reporting back what happens. Because it's just like, oh, what's Dutch's line is like, it's very Killjoys, but it's just like, oh, that hurt in a bad way. When they find Alvis, she's just like, you take away people's pain.
Not inflicted. You're a Scarback monk.
Oh, and it's just like, oh, like that does kind of line up, and she tries to sell it, and I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. And that's how I am with a bunch of the Alvis stuff this episode.
This show loves tropes and archetypes, and they very clearly said that Alvis is this on the appearance a peaceful pacifist monk, but they very much say it straight up top, he's actually a revolutionary.
He's not Gandhi.
Who's willing to do what needs to be done, but he's not a bloodthirsty murderer either. He doesn't want a war. He wants a revolution. That's what he wants.
He wants to be rid of the company.
He wants to make complete change. And it's like they don't know what to do with that.
No.
It's like, that's a great, you got it. You could do so much, and they just don't know.
They set that up so clearly in the first meeting that we had with him. And it just feels like it's diminishing returns every single time we see Alvis.
He's going through a dark phase right now.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
They said that so that way you can justify why he acts like an idiot in this episode. Because what makes me... they lie. This script lies to you. It just outright fabricates things, or it omits things, or it obfuscates, or it deflects what this character was doing in season 1. In season 1, he was working up to an armed rebellion of some sort. He was gathering weapons. He had people inside the company. He was getting intel on all of their bases. He was doing things. And in this episode, he gets ridiculed by some random guy that he's just this inadequate, weak-willed, peaceful pacifist who's not willing to step up to the plate. What happened to that guy I knew who would stand up and fight? In the same episode where this guy is actively fighting people to get medicine and help people, by the way. So even in this episode, Alvis is still fulfilling the needs. And this convinces Alvis to commit mass murder,
And
including
it's
on
so
civilians.
easy. It's so easy. It's just like, yeah, don't worry about me, Dutch. Just take care of yourself.
And to say he's going through a dark phase right now is the script's piss poor way of justifying why he would be able to commit mass murder, including on civilians.
And it's just like, this fully crosses the line into just plain terrorism. Like, it doesn't help the rebellion. It helps Alvis feel more in control of the situation and to punish people unequivocally, right? It doesn't matter how much those people are guilty.
But
it matters that they are with the company.
But he changes his mind because 2 people he knows personally are in the area, so he turns it back and nearly kills himself.
But Hills is already dead anyway.
But they
just don't know that.
Now he has a
he
headache.
would kill Porter.
Yeah, he has a headache. But that's the thing. He rewinds it and self-sacrifices because 2 people he knows are in there. But it's not the fact that civilians are innocent people or it's wrong.
It's just trolley problem.
It's just,
they changed the parameters.
You can't suddenly...
2 of the people on the tram are now people that you know.
You can't just suddenly make a character be able to not just consider, but act upon mass murder without building us to that point. And it's still making them a sympathetic character. Sure, if they're a villain, yeah, makes complete sense. If they're a villain, yeah, you know, that's a part and parcel. Like, they even say that this new guy, Jelko, his whole background is extraction and torture, and he's utilizing those methods on the populace to break them. That they put effort into making that make sense. But Alvis, because some random person said that he doesn't do anything, which is factually not true.
But you used to do something. You used to get beaten up.
Which is
factually
not
true. You get beaten up at the start of this episode too.
It makes me respect the character less, and not even because of the character himself, but because the writing doesn't want to stay true to this person. And so they come up with these contrived, convoluted, and honestly weak methods to get him to do these things. And we are supposed to, I feel, at the end of this, just brush it off and just go, well, he made a bad choice and he paid for it, and we're worried about him. He's going through a dark phase. And I bring that up because it's such a loaded line. Oh, he's going through a dark phase. He couldn't, and I asked this question in our breakdown, and I want to just tap into it. What is the line between rebellion and terrorism, and how does the show contest, how does the show go about that? Like, what does the show think of that? Because
I'm
that
not
was
sure
it on
if
all
they
of season
have
one.
an actual line, or if it's just about the justification of the person at the moment that they do a thing. Like, that's what it feels like in this episode.
He proves the company
Right.
There are people up there. You're not a mass murderer. You're a scarback. You take people's suffering. You don't cause it.
You gonna give this to Joko?
No, I was gonna give it back empty, and we can still do that. Just open this door.
Potter was doing her best, saving people every day during the bombardments and during the raids and during people trying to attack one another. I thought it was a very funny moment when they brought her the body from the prison to get her to see what this poisonous gas is and all of that, and they tried to warn her, like, oh, this will scare you, and she's Wild West doctor. She's not scared. Doesn't frighten her. She's seen horrible shit every day at this point, and I loved the actress's line delivery in her rebuff to Johnny about this. It was just so good. I was so thrilled that she said it, because don't baby her. She's tough as nails. Like, yeah, she's a rich bitch at her core, but she's tough as nails.
You'll find out what she's like, what she's capable of.
And she convinced, she has her relationship with Hills during this episode. She's been hiding him. She feels responsible for him. And they go to the company thinking that, and she's very skeptical, that she could use her family name to grease the wheels and get stuff happening in a way they need to, and it doesn't work.
And she rejects that part of herself anyway.
Yeah, that's the irony.
As well as the history that we do know now.
And she is captured by Jelko. She's staying because she wants to, wink, and she's going to be the person on the inside in that way.
Oh, the moment of her realizing, oh no, I can do something from here, because she sees the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, yeah.
But
Of course it has fucking security footage. What the fuck do you think?
But I think that's a fair reaction to have after Hills gets shot in the head, and she sees this horrible thing, thinking that there's no hope, and then she sees an opportunity here. And I liked how Johnny figured out a solution to this as well, because he goes in and gives her a big kiss, and everyone reacts shocked. Jelko is just like,
Get out of your league.
out of your league, chap.
And I like how she just goes with it.
Yeah. Well, you got to play along. And he puts one of the communicator things
like
on her
She trusts
neck.
Johnny.
Yeah.
And
they have a-
Davin's
and they have a
bit
rapport.
like, you going for her now? Like, I'm done there. We're over. But really?
And just Johnny is all business. Shh. And demonstrates his brilliance. Now they have a person on the inside. This episode, as much as we're giving it shit, there is stuff that is good here. The Potter stuff is good. The Hill stuff is good. I'm just going to say it. Jelko, this new company man, the epitome of mustache twirling, like, fascist bad guy. I thought his performance and the characterization and the writing for him, as well as a lot of what he does in this episode, was pretty masterful. I thought that was the most compelling stuff. I wanted to spend more time with him. I wanted to spend more time with the Killjoys seeing what he is. I thought that was the strongest stuff. And it's like, the episode can do it. Like, you can do this.
It feels frustrating because it's there. That part's there, but we're missing so much of the other shit. And it's just like, I don't like this trade-off.
Look, he chews the scenery, this actor. He's also British, as mentioned, so it's nice to have two British people in the show. He adds a lot of gravitas to the lines, and he is having a blast with just playing this guy as this tea-sipping, pinky in the air, like Ponce, and I love it. I love it. I think it's just such a good way to go. And after having the season 1 be the face of the company is this apathetic, sympathetic, tired non-believer. It is wise and obvious, but it is good
Who's
to
in it still for the sake of his family, whereas this new face is in it for his own pleasure. Like, that's like, he seems to get gratification from destroying people. It's not just, I believe in the company line and I will do what the company says. It's, I get to fuck people over and get paid for it.
He's the embodiment of your fascist pig. There is no genuine believer of the company, because what is the company at all other than the system of power to keep people down? And like, that's all it is, and that's all it needs to be. But there is no like ethos to the company. There never has been. It's always just been this institution of power that is here because it is. And Jellicoe is just a perfect representation of an unfortunate truth of the world, which is these sociopathic people
Find power,
wiggle their way
they
into
take
this
power,
and use it to justify their actions.
But then on the flip side of that, you do have the reality of the people like Turin who are on the inside trying. Like, there's still people who are trying to do the right thing, but they might not be good people, and they try and use the assets and the abilities that they have to try and make a difference.
But how much can one make a difference from within a broken system?
Yeah.
Turin is back, a favorite bitch. Our favorite angry long-haired man is back from the dead, and yes, we were very unhappy that he just strolls on in and he's just got a scar there, and they say, he's not a level 6, he's healing. But to give credit, they play that. The first half of the episode that he's in, it is weird that things are going unaddressed and he's being just so devil may care. But then that feeds into the end, which you were surprised by, that Turin's the one that brings Lucy down to the planet, and that he is playing up that things are fine, but he knows that they aren't, and he needs
but
them.
There's too many eyes on me, so I need you, the best Killjoys,
to look into the stuff, and I'll give you unofficial warrants that will help you find what is going on with the unsanctioned warrants.
I'm close, but I need
close.
you. That didn't work very well for me.
See, I thought that was a good sell. I think it's a good sell because Turin was
decent, but it was just like, okay, this makes sense because, you got to switch up the formula and we can't just have warrant after warrant. So now they're going to have a warrant and an unsanctioned warrant. And just like an episode where Dutch had to work against her team.
Because of Klein. Yeah.
On another level, and it's like, I get it.
See, I think this is...
But I'm not sold yet.
See, I appreciate this because Turin has been a side character, background character, but each time we see him, they keep ramping up the logical conclusion of his emotional state. He was very angry the first time we met him, and we see that anger become more righteous as the show goes on. Because in the last episode we saw him in season 1, he was aware of this conspiracy, he's figuring things out the way they are, but he is so high up and he believes in the Rack that he is offended on an ideological level by the idea that there's a conspiracy. And he doesn't like that Dutch and her crew get preferential treatment when that's not supposed to be the way it is. Like, it offends him to his core. But to then have him be back in this episode, and he's willing to put all of that grudge that he has for them aside because we need to do what, again, makes logical sense for him to ramp up of. He is super conspiratorial and angry that there is something going on, that he's going to take action, but he can't do it himself. He realizes that, especially after being stabbed to death almost, that he needs to use the thing that he knows will work, which are the people he hates. And I think that's great because I think...
Oh, yeah, like...
And it's a good sell to me at the end of the episode of just like, okay, now we're going to see these two factions work together and it's going to be a great, like,
I'm interested
friction.
To see where that goes. But just because of this episode as a whole, I was just like, oh... Okay, they're setting up this thing. It makes sense for these reasons. Like, I just felt the cogs. And, like, it's annoying me that I disliked this episode so much because it feels like if you explained it to me ahead of time that, like, they infiltrate Old Town and there's this company weapon that they need to find. They need to use all of their contacts to, you know, get into the places that they need to be in, and a return of familiar faces. But it just doesn't work in the way that it's delivered.
Just so we're clear, I always finish my warrants. Consider this one a bonus.
Well, now I feel terrible. I didn't bring you anything.
On our rating system of Yum being bad and Yum Yum being
It's
good.
a yum.
I also give this episode a yum.
Yum.
The next episode of Killjoys we will be watching and talking about is Season 2, Episode 3, Shaft. That's the name. Shaft. And the IMDb trivia says that this name shares the name of the film, Shaft. And that had, like, minus amount of people found that helpful because it's such a pull. I remember this episode, and I'll tell you this. It's nothing like that film, so I don't even know why you would put that in the trivia. I doubt they
This
even...
wasn't very much like Wild Wild West either.
No, but it's a fun title. It's a fun title. Rachel, how about you
wish
tell...
that I had a fun time. But you know what, listeners? You can have a fun time over on our Patreon because there's a ridiculous amount of content over there. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of Ryan and I talking. Ryan talking on his own. A couple of me talking on my own. We've got sci-fi stuff. We've got non-sci-fi stuff over there too.
We have a community Discord you get to be a part of when you join our Patreon. And if you want to talk to us, contact us more directly. We have our email address, which is
yumyumpod@gmail.com. But maybe they want to see the little promos that you put together, Ryan. Where will they find those?
We are on all of those social medias under YumYumPod or YumYumPodcast. You can talk to us on there as well. Comment. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on things we said here today. We were very harsh on this episode, and perhaps you're a big defender of it. Hey, when we talk negatively about the second episode of Season 1, there was a lot of defense of that episode. So I would love to hear some of this, because again, this is an episode, like we said, we could see how this could work, but it just didn't come together in the way that I think they imagined it would. But that is all until next time, Yumlings. Remember this, okay? This is Pre's place. And he plays good music there.
And he did bad things to get that bar.